Welcome, everyone. Today is Saturday, July 2nd. This is week 14, day 4 of Hotel Evening and Weekend Platoon. Today, we're going to talk about Django authentication. And we're going to cover a little bit of Thursday's lesson just as a review. And the reason why we're going to do that is actually really important. Where did you handle, actually, before I get into that, can anyone tell me what the difference between authentication and authorization is? Because there is a difference.
Authentication is basically authenticating the user when they try to access a website. Authorization is when the user is allowed, once they are authenticated, but they are also authorization allows them to do different things within the website, like working on the back end, reading, creating, deleting, updating information, and so on and so forth of the site.
That's exactly it. And it's something that you have to know. It's really important. It's also a really popular interview question sometimes, depending on exactly what role you're applying to. So I don't know if you looked at the GitHub repos, but it just says auth at the beginning. That's a little misleading because authentication is exactly what Cisco says. What user are you? Authorization, what can that user do, right? If you're admin, obviously you're going to be able to do everything. Right? If you're just some run-of-the-mill user, you're obviously not going to be able to do everything. Make sense? All right, so keep that in mind. Both of those things are different and they matter a great deal. Very similar to the two tenets of Linux, who are you, right? Because who you are is going to tell you what exactly you can and can't do. And Cisco brought up a really good point. Sometimes, depending on what user you are, you only have read access, right? That's really popular. You only have read access because you don't have to edit anything, right? You just have to have access to it so you can see things, right? But you don't want people just editing your database willy-nilly, right?
Yeah.
All right, super important. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I believe it's this. Can you guys see my screen here?
Yes.
All right, so this is actually day 3. This is Thursday's class. And actually DRF, I know we talked about the difference between authentication and authorization, but DRF is super nifty with its all built-in functionality. It handles both, right? It allows you to create a user, authenticate who this person is. This token belongs to this person, and this person can access this API. Make sense?
Yeah.
All righty. Where did you handle authentication on Thursday? Where did you handle that? Front end or back end?
I was out on Thursday, so.
No worries. Anyone else? Where did you handle it? This becomes important for today's lesson.
I'm going to say backend.
Yeah. What framework handles it for you? It's on the screen.
Oh, the REST framework.
Yeah, the Django DRF, right? It handled it. So that's a backend framework. So your backend handled it. How are you going to handle typically authentication and authorization? How you're going to handle both typically, right? It's going to be on the backend. It's simply much safer. Today, we're going to teach you how to handle it on the front end. But outside of kind of maybe your personal projects, you won't ever really be doing it on the front end. We just want to show you this concept of middleware today, right? And what it can do. Make sense? And we're going to allow you to authenticate with the front end. Typically, depending on what API you use for your personal projects or your group projects, you might authenticate on the front end, but you're going to notice some APIs get really picky. The Twitter one is one, the Spotify one is one, I can't remember about Yelp, but some of the bigger APIs, depending on what they are, will not let you authenticate on the front end. And the reason for that, I'm telling you right now, is because it's just less secure, right? You might be able to get away with it with the Pokemon API, because you notice the Pokemon API doesn't have any what?
Users.
Yeah. Can anyone ping it? Joe Schmo off the street?
No.
The Pokemon API?
Can anyone
Any,
ping Joe Smo
yeah.
off the street? Oh,
Well, no. Can anyone ping the Pokemon API?
yes.
Yeah. It doesn't have any authorization or authentication at all. Anyone can ping it, right? But if you go with something as simple as the, have you guys messed with the NASA picture API?
No.
Picture of the day API? Ah, every single day they'll give you a picture from NASA, right? This API is actually really user friendly for beginners, right? And this one, Joe Schmo off the street can't ping it. You actually have to register for a token, and then they'll send you one, and then you can make requests. The NASA picture of the day API, right? It's very simple. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Anyone with an email can do it, right? But that is at least one layer of security, because not anybody can ping it, just like the Pokemon API, right? And if you ever get a chance, this is actually a really good beginner API to mess with, because it kind of introduces you to authentication and authorization. I'll drop it right here in the questions channel. Just for the sake of posterity, let me open this window back up. So yeah, so Django authentication authorization. Was everyone able to get Thursday's assignment to work by chance?
Yes, I was.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. That's going to be typically the main way you're going to authenticate for your individual project and for the group project. So that's something you absolutely need to know. If ultimately, right, today's lesson of middleware, right, and handling the credentials on the front end, ultimately you don't really understand that well, that's okay. All APIs let you authenticate on the back end, right? And some don't let you authenticate on the front end. So there's really kind of no need to even know it. You just have to know that it exists. Make sense? So this idea of conceptually understanding these software engineering concepts will become really valuable to you when you go to interview, because they want to know what you know, right? And if you know things exist, you're going to come off as kind of like a person that has like a big breadth of knowledge. They know you're not going to have depth because you're new, right? But just knowing that you've messed around with a lot of things and been exposed to a lot of things, right? Leads people to believe, hey, this person wants to be a master at their craft. They're clearly not today, but we can take a chance on them. Yes? Alrighty, cool. So authenticating, and when I just say authenticating, I'm going to use the words interchangeably just as to make it easier to teach this, but just know authentication, authorization, two very different things. They go hand in hand, like it did in DRF on Thursday's lesson, but sometimes they'll be a little bit different. Alrighty, today's lesson is more Django authentication, but this time we're going to handle it with something known as middleware. All right, so handling credentials on the front end. Thursday, you got to experience authentication, and DRF did it, right? Built-in methods, pretty straightforward. Today, we're going to learn about middleware. I'm sure everyone here has probably gotten the CORS error before. Very famous error. Ultimately, that error tells us what? I don't want to read it. I'm sure you've experienced it. Just someone explain it to me. What's the CORS error? I mean, if you need to know, it's right here.
We're trying to access two different pages from. We're trying to access different pages across different URLs.
Yeah, across different domains. And for security reasons, right? Most websites, almost all, actually all websites that make money are going to block that. Why? Why should you have to reach into a different domain or ask a different domain for information when you're not on that specific domain? That doesn't make any sense, right? Now, for developmental purposes, right, it's good to understand this, right, and just allow all because we're developing locally. This is not a real application, right? But yes, that is the error, right? You're running a front end on 5,500, right? But your API, your Django API is on 8,000, right? So you're going to get this cross origin error. All right. So it turns out that with a little bit of middleware is basically just a fancy term for code through which the request or response runs through. So this idea of middleware in a second is going to become really important. But we're going to teach you how to implement a simple middleware, which is just software, right? That's going to intercept your response and allow it to reach any backend that it needs to. And you're going to be able to manipulate the request so the backend accepts it. All right, so this is just a simple class that does what exactly?
Just it sends a request and gets a response back.
Yeah, but your normal front end does that. Middleware it does exactly what the name suggests. It's going to do what?
Be the middleman to do so.
Exactly. What are some possible reasons you would want this type of code? We're going to teach you how to handle credentials using middleware, but middleware is actually conceptually is really important. It can do a lot of different things. Right here is going to help you authenticate, but it can also do a bunch of different things, right? But read this code. What is this actually doing here? It's a little bit of a trick question, I guess. Just read the class. It's not really, what is it doing?
It's acting as a gatekeeper, essentially, and it's just making sure that the request can be, I guess, approved before
Yes,
it passes it on.
it's eventually going to do that. But right now, it's not really doing anything. This class is what just forwarding the request. It's not really doing anything, right?
Mhm.
Not yet. Now here, right, it's doing what? It's still doing pretty close to nothing. But here we get at least to do what?
That one's approving the authorization to be able
Not
to
not
delete.
yet.
Well, it's reading the headers to see what kind of request is being made, and if it's a delete post get or options request, and it's basically saying options is approved, and you can get a status 200 code back.
Yes, and it's doing something else for you. It's
Oh, it's the allow origin is allowing all origins from anywhere.
yeah, but here it's also doing what for the
Oh,
developer?
I'm on the wrong part.
It's printing the response to the console.
Yeah, so you're just capturing the request. So you're effectively intercepting it. Hey, print it for me. Check. Am I capturing the request? If it's a post request, am I getting it printed to the console? All right. So now that I know that I'm actually capturing that request, right, I can start to manipulate that request, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a simple file, right, in your application. You can call it middleware.py, right? So now we know that, hey, we're capturing that request. Cool, right? Now you can add it in your application, right? Look at the top, Wines middleware. This is using the Wines API. We're going to get to that in a second. But you can use whatever application you already have. Actually, you can even use the one they use Thursday. So add it to middleware, Wine's middleware, Cores.middleware, and now you're going to effectively intercept that response. Right now you're not really doing anything, you're just printing it, but it shows you, hey, you can capture that request. Now we can start to manipulate it. All right, so as I said earlier, this is from the Wines API, right? It says if you run everything and make the request, you'll see not a very impressive looking response object, right? Because you're just printing it. But here we can start to kind of give this middleware a little bit of functionality. And what's the functionality that we give here? Up here, you just printed it, right? And it was a funny looking response object. Cool. You can parse it, right? You can stringify it so the developer can read it, right? But then from this, right, you said, okay, we're capturing it. It's working. I've configured everything properly in my application, right? Now let's add a little bit of robustness to this middleware, right? And what am I allowing here? This is actually doing something. What is this code doing? Now that I can capture that request.
That's where I was.
Yeah. Okay, well, you jumped the gun a little bit, but that's okay. Eventually, now that I've captured the request, I can do what? I can give it some extra functionality. And what does this code do here? It fixes your cores error, right? It allows access from, what's the start give you? Anywhere, right? But something really interesting happens in the rest of this code, right? You're giving, right? You're allowing origin from anywhere. What operations are you allowing?
CRUD.
Yeah, all of them. Could you limit this cross-site request to just posts?
Yes.
Yeah, you could. You could say, hey, if it's coming from a different URL, you're not allowed to post. You're allowed to get, you're allowed to delete if you know what's there. But you're not allowed to post. Why would you do that? No reason. But you could, because you're effectively giving it all these CRUD options, right? This is actually missing one of the options. Which is it? What is it missing?
Put.
Yeah, it's missing put. I don't know if they did that intentionally or not, but doesn't matter. All right. And this is what this line says. If you want to play around and try removing some of them easily, right? Remove, delete, and see that you can do everything. But once you try to do a delete, right, it's going to block you because it doesn't have that specific authorization, right? You've been authenticated, right? But you don't have the permission to hit delete, right? All right. Credentials flow on the front end. This is something you covered on Thursday. So the specific, I think I could just click on this. So let's just go over this. This is super, super common, not just for this kind of authentication, but for many authentications. User in the API, the user sends the username and password upon signup, right? A user is created and it's associated with a token. The token gets sent back to the user, and then any subsequent requests by that specific user, their token is used. Right? And whatever information that they request, right? If they're authorized to get that information, it gets sent back. Right? If it's not authorized, what code do they get back?
Was that a 405, I think?
And 403, but yes, close enough. Right? You get, hey, you're not authorized to make that request. Right? Your credentials are limited to, X, Y, and Z. All right. So this flow, super, super, super common. All right, let me go back. So that's credential flow. right now this lesson is about to go into creating a front end, right? Creating a front end with middleware that I just showed you how to do. It's really that simple. That's going to do this for you with the click of a button. You click a button, you sign up, right? It caches your token, right? And any subsequent request to that specific API, right? You need to send the token. Do you need a front end for this? Here you can just copy and paste this front end here, or you can create your own little one. But do you need this front end to do this?
No, you don't need it because you can also, if I'm not mistaken, you can do so for the Django admin area as well.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could just use Standard Client or Postman. Should you guys do that? I'm guessing you probably do some version of that on Thursday. Hit a post to create a new user, grab the token, and then
Yeah.
just create another tab and send a delete request or a put request or whatever request you need to send, right? But today's challenge will be to create a front end for it, right? Just to see how that works. So this, I'm not going to get into it, but this you can copy and paste it if you use it, or you could just have something whipped up by ChatGPT, or if you need practice on the front end and you like the front end, you can try to create it from scratch, but make it very, very simple, right? Initially, you can console log everything. You can just console log, hey, created a user, send back token, right? And then create another button that says post, delete, and then you can, build out from there. So here they just give you an example of a front end that you could easily copy or you could create your own. The UI is pretty rough. I've already done this earlier, and it's a little clunky, so you don't necessarily have to use it if you don't need to. And this gives you code, right? The logic behind creating a user, right? Grabbing the token and then making requests using that specific token. Not going to go over this. You can look at it if you would like, but that's the basic gist of today's class. I do want to go back to this idea of middleware, though. You're using this CORS middleware to intercept the specific request, but in the giant umbrella of software engineering, the concept of middleware is actually really, really important. And there's a lot of different kinds of middlewares. There's middlewares for APIs, for example, right? Your API can have some middleware that any connection that's not HTTPS gets dropped. So imagine an API where 1,000 requests come in, right? But there's logic in your API that if it's not an HTTPS connection, it gets dropped. So it doesn't get sent further down your application. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That can also be a type of middleware, right? There can also be database types of middleware. For example, your API goes to reach for something and grab some information from your database. But if someone had pulled that same information 15 minutes earlier, it's possible that the API hits a cache. And a cache is a kind of middleware, right? Hits a cache that's already available, so it doesn't have to make an expensive call to your database. So if someone had already pulled that information, right, and it's in the cache, it'll actually check the cache first. It'll check the middleware. Is this information there? If it is, it just pulls it. Right? That speeds up your response and makes those calls less expensive. Now, if it's not in this middleware cache, right, it'll go to the database, grab it, and then return it to the user. But in an interesting kind of way, if it's a fresh request like that, it checks the cache, it's not there. It goes to the database, grabs it, right? But on the double back of that response, guess where it goes? Hits the cache, puts it there, then returns it to the user. So if someone makes that request 3 minutes later, it's now where? That information.
Yes.
It's in the cache, right? So conceptually, middleware is actually really important. The way that you're using it in today's lesson is not particularly important and not particularly useful. because in a real world application, you won't really use it this way, right? But the concept of middleware is super, super important. You see it as middle layers in applications all the time, right? You see it for security reasons all the time and for optimization reasons. I gave you the example with the database. That's an optimization. But I also give you the example with the API, right? Any request in an HTTPS, drop them at the API, right? That's security, right? And I won't get into other ways that they use it, but they use it for like protecting against like DDoS attacks and like mirroring requests or even throttling. Throttling is a really important one. For example, let's say a specific IP, let's say a specific IP address is hitting your API 1,000 times a second. What? That can't be a person. That's a what?
It's a bot.
It's a bot. And it's crashing your system. Not cool. You have some middleware in there that throttles it. Says, hey, if I get more than X number of requests from this exact same AP, not only throttle it, but have some automation to block that IP address from pinging this API for 24 hours indefinitely until a human looks over the logs. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So for the challenge today, let's go over it. Token auth front end, right? So it's important that you understand the basics of sign up, sign in, access workflow on the front end. Choose a DRF project. It can even be what you used on Thursday, right? With authentication implemented, this could be a previous challenge or something else. Write a front end that interacts with your protected DRF API. You'll need to handle account creation, login, and resource access. To keep things simple, you only need to worry about accessing a single resource. The focus should be on getting the complete flow implemented, not on a fancy presentation. So functionality is super important. It doesn't matter if your front end doesn't look particularly good, or even ideal user experience. Now, if you want to spend extra time because you like the front end, by all means do so. But that's ultimately the challenge for today. Just creating a front end that handles authentication using middleware, the specific class. Questions about that? Once you get the initial functionality working, you could easily apply some logic and create kind of like two different users, right? You can create like user one and then admin one, right? And if you log in as admin one, it has certain privileges. And if you log in as user one, it has different privileges, right? To show you, hey, this concept is actually important. Depending on which user you are, okay, you're both authenticated, right? But you're both not authorized to do the same thing. Make sense? That's all I had. Questions?
Yeah. So Thursday, did you guys have any issues with the account module or getting an error saying the module accounts is not module not found, no module named accounts for that setup on Thursday?
It appears that you don't have that path. Nicole, you got it running though. You can chime in here.
Yeah, I got it running. I'd have to look at. I don't remember getting too many errors on it. Uh, let's see. Let me look at it.
Did you
Nicole,
have
can you create the zip and drop it in the hotel questions so Cisco can take a look at it?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Awesome. Last thing actually before I cut you loose and kind of we get started. After this, we'll take a break. Did I Oh, that was a short lesson. Okay. After this, let's take a break. I'll come back. I'll open the rooms, and you guys can get started on your project. I think I've mentioned the following thing before, but I'll go ahead and mention again because it's actually really, really important in software engineering. Can anyone tell me what the principle of least privilege is? I think I've discussed it with you guys, but what we're doing today and just this whole authorization authentication kind of lends itself to talk about this bigger software engineering principle that's actually really important. Principle of least privilege, what is it? And let me know if I've already mentioned it here.
Real quick, Nicole, you don't have to do it. Thank you. I had a typo.
Okay.
Thanks.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right.
I think it means you're not granting somebody access higher than what they absolutely need. You're giving them the least amount of, I guess, authorization or privileges that they need.
Yes. Remember that concept. It might be an interview question, but it is. I work at AWS. Like there's a tenet that says, security is priority zero at AWS. That's like they like drill that into us all the time. But it's not just there. It's pretty much everywhere. Pretty much everywhere, right? And it's not just individuals. Right now it's individuals, and for some applications, depending on what it is individuals. But a lot of what people don't see, it's also applications, right? So you'll give applications the minimum necessary permissions to just do what they absolutely need to. If this specific application only needs to read these specific rows in the database, that's the only permissions it will have, nothing more. And you do that for every single resource in your entire architecture, it starts to get a little complicated and it's kind of a pain, right? But anything short of that will get flagged. Make sense? And this is a little bit of I don't know if I mentioned this before. This is a little bit of my hot take on where AI goes. I think scanning for vulnerabilities, right? Eventually we'll get to, with these agentic models, I think eventually that's going to become pretty unwieldy and pretty dangerous. So what do I think is going to happen? Eventually that space is going to grow very quickly, but I think the counter to that, protecting against these bots that are scanning applications for vulnerabilities very, very quickly, right, will grow too. So you're going to have a bunch of developers trying to break applications and a bunch of another group of developers developing their own, models to counteract that. So that's to me kind of where I see the future of like cyber warfare happening, right? A bunch of people with bots on their side. We don't know if that's going to happen, but it just feels like that's going to happen. Like right now, people scan for vulnerabilities manually, but I feel eventually that's going to be automated, which is going to be super dangerous for companies and individuals and people overall, I think, right? Because a machine can scan for vulnerabilities like, orders of magnitude greater than a simple human.
Did you see the Grok 4 release the other night?
I didn't see it. I heard of some rumblings about it though.
Well, the day before they had some I think they removed one of like the political correctness. Are we recording right now still?
Guys, I'm sorry. I just want to go over one more thing before I cut you loose back into your breakout rooms. I usually do this, but I want to do this for this activity as well. Everyone can hear me, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me here. Okay. Promise I'm going to let you work after this. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the left, I just have a little note. It says token auth for front end. You've been given this assignment. Give me the steps. How are you going to accomplish this? There's a couple of different ways to do this, but I just want to kind of make sure that everyone has a path forward here. What are you going to do first? You've been just given this a couple minutes ago. Okay. What are you going to do? Like draft how we're going to tackle this assignment. You were dealing with this a minute ago, is my guess. Right? So how did you go about it? There's a bunch of different ways to do this, but how is anyone tackling this, right? What were you working on just now?
So I put the middleware into the settings first.
Okay, but which project did you pick? Like, how
Oh,
are you?
I'm doing a version of the Pokemon stuff that I've been
Okay,
working.
okay. So picked uh Pokemon uh Pokemon API as a database
Yeah,
project. So here is it Dockerized?
yes.
Okay. I could says it was like I didn't chose. Chose Pokemon app with API database that's Dockerized, right? I'm not sure if Dockerized is a word. Cool. All right. So you picked that because it doesn't have any kind of authentication, right? All right. Then what were you going to do?
Oh, I'm muted. I was starting with just adding in the middleware to the settings because I always forget that, so I try to do settings first. Uh,
Hmm.
and then I was gonna start the middleware PY file.
Create middleware class,
Hmm.
right? Maybe just print response maybe or request, right? Print request at first.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, update middleware. Middleware to do what?
I was just gonna essentially go back and walk through the lecture again.
Yeah, no worries. But we're just doing it right now. And you're going to do the same thing after this too. But we're going to update the middleware to do what? Just try to
Um,
think about what we discussed.
to check the authentication, so the print the response for a request and then um give it uh, per request give it like the access controls.
There you go. Update middleware, access controls. Then what are you going to do?
Um, let's see. Then do
Then,
the possibly copy and paste that front end because I wasn't planning on building one.
okay, we can do that, but we have everything to do what else? We
We
can do it that way.
go into the admin
Yeah, you could do that.
or
But
postman.
yeah, there you go. Right? Why don't you spin this up? Spin this up. Do your migrations, whatever you need to do. Spin this up, do your migrations, etc. Make sure this works, right? Then what I would do before I even did the front end or copied anything, I'd just ping it with Postman. Make sure this works. Is this working, right? Uh, create user and a post or something and post request. Does this work? Because if this doesn't work, your UI is useless. Create UI that uses that consumes this authenticated API. Roughly, that's what you're looking to do. Make sense? Doesn't have to be the Pokemon one. It can be any one that you choose, right? Or you can use kind of a fresh version of what you used on Thursday, right? I don't know how helpful this is, but I'll add this to the to the Slack channel. Give me 1 second. Just going to add this little pseudocode to the Slack channel. And remember what I taught you maybe weeks ago, right? If you don't know where to start, where do you start? I mean, we coded this out, right? But if you don't know where to start, where do you start?
With whatever you know.
Exactly. You're such a good student, Nicole.
My brain
But
was
whatever,
not firing today.
it looks like it is, though. Yeah,
Fair.
with whatever part you know, right? With whatever parts that you know. Make sense? If your brain works in a weird kind of way and you just need a UI button that pings your API and you want to start there, you could. Are some of these roads a little bit harder and a little bit longer? Yes, but if that's the only way you can figure it out at the moment, then do it that way. Eventually it will come. Make sense? Alrighty. I'm sorry I brought you back very quickly. I just want to make sure everyone had a path forward. Okay, now I'm going to stop. Give me 1 second, everyone. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, how are we doing?
I'm really close to getting it functional from Thursday.
Perfect, good. Everyone else?
Yeah, I was just working with Adam to get that token. We just got that token when you called us back. So
Gotcha.
so as we
Okay, so
release,
the
we're
next
gonna
part's easy, right? You just send the request with the token.
right.
Cisco?
Yeah, I'm still working on the one from Thursday. I got the token and everything created, but when I tried to access the wines one, it's still just saying that I'm not authorizing the GET, and you can't send a GET request.
Say Cisco. During our lecture on Thursday, Umar was having trouble. So we had to go through Postman. Are you using Postman?
I tried Postman. Yeah, I tried both Postman and the web interface, and I'm getting the same thing. Even when I put the token in with the bearer token, it's still saying, uh, GET request is not allowed, not authorized. Authorization credentials were not provided, is what I'm getting in Postman.
But they were provided, right?
Yes, I provided them in the authorization field or the authorization tab where it says auth type bearer token. And then I have the token and it shows my token there. It automatically populated the token, but when I hit send, it just says authentication credentials are not provided.
Is the type of request allowed?
Well, on the when I try to do it from the website, it says GET requests are not allowed from the API.
Did you get the token from a post?
I got the token from a post. Yep. Did the GET token, put in my my username and password, and then it gave me the token. Then I went to try to use the wines one URL, and I'm getting.
Okay, I'll jump to your breakout room right after this. I'll take a look. To me, the only thing that makes sense now, it's a path issue, maybe?
Maybe so. Well, I'm using the same exact path. Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
The path is different than the post, right? Because you're making a GET request.
Right.
Okay, I'll jump in there. Nicole, where are you at?
I'm working on getting it spun up now. Gonna see how many errors I get because I'm sure I'll
Okay,
get.
so when you're spinning up the Docker containers is my guess.
Mhm.
Alrighty, good stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to see a status check. I'll jump into your room here after this. Just go and see what's going on with that. See if I can help. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, guys, is we're on week 14. This is exactly the halfway point. If you ever find, and I know this is probably really difficult, especially for the part-time program, find yourself with extra time, right? Because today's challenge is not very, it's not very long, right? What I would do is what you should have somewhere on your desktop right now is a folder called personal project, right? And you should have a little bit of code or a little bit of ideas of what that's going to be. And if you ultimately end up picking something where the API is a little more, bit more nuanced, right? It would be in your best interest that if you have a little bit of time to spend time collecting those APIs, collecting the credentials, making kind of a dummy GET request to those, make sure that you're getting the information that you need and start slowly building that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening, and it's happened a lot in the last couple of cohorts, is people think they have all this time, right? And then they get busy or they kind of drag their feet. And when push comes to shove, they run into like a weird situation where, okay, their application works locally, but they can't get their containers on AWS to talk to each other, right? And they're spending days on it, so they can't figure it out. But by that time, they've like kind of built out most of their application, and it gets really complicated, right? There was a specific group. I don't remember what group it was, not that it matters, but they ran into a situation where they ended up storing their credentials in local storage because they couldn't figure out a better way to do it. When you go to interview and they ask you about technical challenges that you've solved, and I said this to the specific group when I asked them how they solved their technical challenge, and their answer was, oh, we just stored it in local storage. And I told them, if you ever get asked that question, don't use that example. Why is that? That's a bad solution. That doesn't scale at all, right? And what ended up happening was the group was great. It's just right there at the end, they couldn't figure out this one small thing of their application, right? And they ended up coming up with a really hacky solution, which is fine, right? You're going to pass the class. That's not an issue, right? But if you get a technical question like that in an interview, right, your solution is bad, and I wouldn't recommend using it that way. Make sense? So if you
Yeah.
find yourself with a little bit of extra time, right, make sure that you're building that out. You're actually collecting those APIs and figure out what that's going to be. You don't want to be like right there at the end trying to finish the personal project, which is really the last thing that you need to graduate. You technically don't need the group project. I always recommend that people do it because it's just a more experience, another thing you can discuss in your interviews. So definitely everyone should do it. But if you don't pass it, it's not like you don't pass the class, you still do. So really and the advice that I always give, I don't know if I've given it in this class, but I would definitely start looking for jobs right after you pass your personal project. Right. So it should be, working on the group project, applying for jobs, looking for opportunities, those last couple of weeks. Makes sense? Because if by some miracle you finish a project and you're able to get a job, the last couple of weeks don't matter. You don't even have to do it. You can dip out. Make sense?
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't recommend you dip out if you got a job right now, because I would, but more likely that it happens post personal project. Make sense?
Yeah.
All righty. That's the only thing I wanted to share with you. Make sure that you have that in the back of your mind. That's going to be the next big challenge. I'll pause it here. I brought everyone together because me and Cisco were having an issue with his Postman, and we couldn't exactly figure it out from Thursday's lesson. But Nicole has Thursday's lessons running, so she's just going to go over how she got it up and going and hopefully test it with Postman. Weird thing about Cisco's situation is the Auth token is working with curl. It's just not working with Postman. So we just don't know how to use Postman, and that's what's happening. But we will figure it out. All yours, Nicole. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, because I am also now having issues with Postman at the moment.
Oh,
so-
no.
Because I pull it up and I get it up in the browser right now working, and for some reason, even with the Wines API one that I switched to using for today's, just to get try a different one, I wasn't able to do some of the stuff in Postman, but I was able to do the commands, I guess. I don't know. It's being weird now. I don't know if it's just Postman or
Yeah, just walk us through just Thursday's lesson, and then we'll together ping Postman again and see what's going on.
okay. Because let me pull it up then. I have so many screens. Which one is it? Not that one. I think it's this one. There we go. Okay. So I got rid of all of this because I was trying to get it back to Thursdays, but that could have also been what messed my stuff up. So Thursday's lesson. So it was the adding the REST framework to the serializer. No, the settings here. So that's in there.
Yeah.
Then going to the views, making sure the views were right. Here for the
Yep.
creating the password stuff. Then making sure we had the serializers for this. And obviously the URLs to make the view work. Though I do find it strange that when I go to it, it puts a space in some of these.
Yeah,
Weird.
I had the same thing as well on
Like when
mine.
it shows it to you, it shows you a space, but if you go to it with a space, let me see.
It corrects it.
It corrects it. It's weird. So it's if I go, sorry, one of my screens is tiny. So you go here and it shows it to you with a space.
It shouldn't do that.
No, I was like, but when you go to it like this, it basically tells you it doesn't exist. But when you take away, come
Control
on,
Z.
Control Z. Where is it? There it is. If you go in here and you take away this space, it gets there. Which I don't
Weird.
understand why it's doing that because I went in here and I like double checked. There's like no spaces, and
Yeah.
then I checked in here. I mean, there's no extra spaces that I thought maybe could be it, but it's being weird like that.
It's the browser doing that, right?
Yeah. My browser corrected it. I didn't have to take out that
This is a different one. I think
that code,
yeah, when I go to the
that Unicode character, it automatically placed in there for you for space.
oh, it doesn't do that on mine. It just counts. Let's go.
By the way, Guillermo, I just figured it out
Oh,
for
What-
Postman.
What was it?
So you got to take in the authorization, you got to put no auth, and then in headers, just put authorization and the token
Yeah.
with the token.
Yeah.
So it was the bearer token that was messing it up.
Yeah, because it was trying to say in two authorization tokens, right?
Right. So yeah, Nicole, go to authorization for your wines.
yeah, I
Make
have
sure
to.
you're in wines.
Oh, I'm in wines. Let me see. Because I have wine shut down right now.
Oh, okay.
Because they're using all the same ports. So every time I switch projects, I have to close everything down and put everything back up.
Yeah.
I'll figure out that. But yeah, so
it's no auth and then
it's bear. What's it? Bearer token, right?
no
No,
auth.
it's just no auth. And
Oh,
then
no.
in the headers, go to headers. Up top. No, up top.
Next to authorization. Yeah.
And then key, just put auth.
Oh, yeah.
Just pick authorization.
That's what
There
it
you go.
was. And then you just put the value in here.
Token
well,
and then the string.
Token and then the string. Yeah. I think I just when I was restarting and updoing it, it just stuff deleted. I probably cleaned it out. Because
Gotcha.
but yeah, I do have the weird thing here where like again I do sign up. No, it's not working. Did I shut it down?
Oh, it should be sign up with the, oh, well, yeah, you know.
Oh wait, I'm missing this. Hold on. Because it has that. Yeah, my browser doesn't automatically update it, so for some reason it's showing that extra space. But yeah. Okay. That's fun. Postman is I remembering the buttonology on Postman always gets me.
Perfect.
Because even when I was doing the other one and I was trying to post wines in there just to start going, trying to figure out how to do it through Postman was giving me a problem. So I just went to the URL for the wines one and did my post request from here.
That works. And you could have also done what Cisco did early. He just tried to curl it.
Yeah. I was because I had the wines one up and I went to the wines line, and then I had the options for like post, and I put in my JSON there and just posted it, and it did. Whereas in Postman, I was trying to figure out how to add the body in there again because I know we can do it that way. But I was having issues trying to figure it out again.
It has to match your schema, right?
Yeah. So I had, let me, I have to find my other one. I have too many things open. Yeah, so I took this and I made a JSON with it, and I made like 4 different lines, and I was putting them in there. But when I was doing it from Postman, I'll just do it for here. Nope. Nope, that's not what I want. Get this is gonna get me my Pokemon. Oh, it just gets me here. Oh, I guess I don't have anything in here right now. Or I don't have it set up correctly right now. I'll have to close
You
it.
don't. You need the token, right? And the value token.
Yeah, I have to get it all back and set up.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, it was giving me trouble with when I was going to the post here and going to body. I guess you have to type in each one.
I would just you see where it says
Raw.
you could do that. Do JSON. Drop down the JSON and do JSON.
Okay.
Yeah, it's raw. It's the raw one.
Yeah,
That's
it's raw
fine.
JSON, and then you just send it a JSON object.
Yeah, because I was like looking at this and I was like, I really don't want to type in each one right now. I have the
Yeah.
JSON. It's like, where do I do this? But again, trying to find where it is and all this stuff. Postman gives you a lot of options.
Yeah, and when you do this, you really want to save the views, right? Because you don't want to be retyping everything every time. So I think you're doing a good job the way that you're doing it here.
Okay. I'm gonna hop out of this and go back to troubleshooting my wines one.
Yeah.
Share. Give me 1 second.
I found a good way, Nicole. If you do your get wines first, it'll give you the fields that if you want to use JSON, it'll actually give you the JSON format that you need to provide your new wines in the post for. So you just copy one of them and then just change the information out for them and then hit post, and you shouldn't have a problem. And also it'll show you if you just go to wines and try to do post, it'll tell you what fields need to be provided, because we have required and unrequired fields. So you just need to provide the fields that are required to post a new wine. If that helps or makes sense.
Oh, you're muted, Nicole.
I said I had ended up making like a template JSON just to use the post and make sure it was like working and going in, and just changing out the wine information.
Okay.
But
yeah, and when you guys just print your request, you can just copy it, right, and paste it. It's going to have all the information that's going to send. And don't forget, I'm sharing my screen right now. Remember, you can do everything through curl. If you can't figure out how to do a Postman, hey, this should work, right? This is just an example post request, right? That you can send, hey, I'm going to send a JSON. Here's my auth token, and this is what I want to post, right? You can do it all. And this is just literally copy, paste, edit, send it, do kind of a sanity check, right? And then you can go back to kind of figure out how Postman does it. That thing with the authorization, put no auth and then put the token on the other one. I figured out the authorization and the way it had to go, but I didn't know you had to put no auth. I had forgotten that piece, right? So it's okay if you forget, that's fine. I haven't been using Postman in a little while. Normal thing to forget. Make sense?
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you so much, Nicole. That was super helpful. Thank you, Cisco, for that problem. I'll cut you back I'll put you back in the breakout rooms.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. So where are we with the building the front end that uses middleware to authenticate our API calls?
Doing pretty good. I kind of changed some things around with the with the front end portion, I created my front end out of templates since the one that was currently provided didn't really seem to work. You know,
Do you know why it wasn't working?
out of the box, no, I do not. I mean, it didn't seem like it was actually connecting with the back end and really doing anything. So when you created a user, the new user didn't set up or didn't show up in the admin panel, the Django admin. When you go to sign up, I mean, every time you click submit, it was just, just basically defaulted back to the original state.
There is some configuring that had to happen. We're going to work through that here in just a second. I have it loaded up. Anyone else?
Same thing here.
Same thing, Adam. Same thing.
I'm not as far. I'm just chugging through it. I had just gotten Thursday done.
Okay. Nicole, where are you?
I have it in there, and I've been playing with the admin page. I had to make sure I forgot to configure that or register it. So
Okay. Good stuff. That's kind of where I figured you were. So I wanted to just walk through some of the changes you need to make. That way you have a little bit of a heads up.
Okay.
Let me just share my screen. And we're just going to work through this together. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I just went in here. My server's running, so the endpoint works. But here I literally just created a front end folder, and I'm using the DRF1 API, just like it was in the repo. I created app.js, and this app.js is copy pasted straight from the GitHub repo. I haven't changed anything. Same thing with the index. Same thing with the styles. You should have got something like this. Yes? Yep.
Mine looks nothing like that, but you change your styles around, I guess.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't change anything. I just copy pasted from the repo. Now, if you didn't use a specific repo, yours might look a little different, right?
Okay.
Okay, but it looks something like that if you copy pasted from today's repo. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let's look at it. Let's kind of troubleshoot it. My endpoints work. If I pull up my Postman, and I ping with my token, I have my token there, right? And I just did user and then password 1234566. I send it, and I just threw this test line in there just to make sure I was getting something back. Okay, so this is just test line, price $20. Yep.
Yeah.
So my endpoint works. I'm running my thing, and you can sell. Look, I'm getting the 200. It works. But when I try to run this, and I haven't really made any changes, right? And I try to do my user, and I already told you my password 1234566, and I submit. I can tell what?
That it's attempting to get the token.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like it did get a token though. I'm getting a 200 here.
Okay.
All right. So how do I go about troubleshooting this? If I just copied and pasted this front end, how would I go about troubleshooting it? Because that user exists. I created it. I tested it on Postman. Right. I have user. Right. And I'm pinging it with these credentials. Right. So that works. But my front end is not working like it's supposed to. Where do I go to fix this?
You can go into the app.js.
Okay, I'm going to go in here, and I know that I'm getting a 200, so it looks like I am getting the token. Where would I check if I'm getting the token properly?
Get credentials. Is it the get credential one?
It's not get credentials, right? Because
no.
I already gave you a user. I already created that user using Postman.
Right.
So I already gave you the user. It's user, password 1234566. All right. What am I doing on this submit button? I have my user. I have my password. I'm clicking submit. What call is that?
That is the, let's see, get token.
is it the fetch?
Are you got more Oh, no, I'm looking at the, okay, never mind.
So how do we read this? Right? I gave you a user that works,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave you the password, and I hit submit, and it's given me this right here.
Yeah.
So which,
The fetch results one?
how do I know that?
Well, you're just,
It's
so
not that.
it's not that.
Look at the endpoint. Just read your terminal.
So yes. Click fetch results. Yeah, right. API results body. One API results body. Get info query. Yeah, it's well, the fetch results is so it's showing you the method. So this method is showing up, and then it's showing the wines one. So yeah, it's coming from the fetch results that last
Oh,
output.
we're a little lost here. All right. I created a user, right?
Mhm.
So I don't have to sign up. I'm pressing this submit button. Which function is running here? I
Oh,
can see it. It's right here.
yeah,
Which
that's
function is running?
Get token.
Token. This right here is running on the
mhm.
button click. If I just console log that token. So if that's true, right? And I
Mhm.
press all my password, right? And I hit submit, what am I going to get in the console log?
Should be the token output, right?
Token. Okay, so on that button click, what's exactly happening here?
On the button click, it's just returning the token.
Yeah, okay. So that's what's happening here. So on that button click, I'm getting the token. Okay, let's start troubleshooting here. So I am getting the token. This looks right.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's the get token method.
This needs to do what on submit?
That actually needs to take the token. That needs to take the token, and so the fetch results needs to grab the token and place it in the local storage.
Okay,
Before,
yeah, we're getting there. This is our token. How do I check local storage here? Is it in there? How do we check?
you can do local storage.get item.
Yeah, but I should be able to check using this, right?
Oh, okay.
I should
That'll
be able to
be
use this little GUI. So where do I go? It's in
I think
memory?
it's no, it's network or sources, isn't it? One of the two.
Sources? Network?
Network. Yeah, there it
No.
is. Oh,
Where?
okay, no.
Performance, memory.
Is it application? There it is. Yes,
Application,
should be in local
local
storage.
storage.
There it is.
Okay, what do we notice?
There's your token.
Okay, so my local storage does have my token. Cool. 5736, console log 5736. Okay, I have my token and I can prove, right? 5736. That does this work? See? Okay, cool. All right, so I am getting the token. So what is this application supposed to do here? All right, so the token is in there, right?
Okay.
So why am what's supposed to happen here when I log in?
It's supposed to take you to wines /1 or
Okay,
yeah.
Why is it not doing that?
Because in that get token, that function needs to be, so fetch results needs to call the wait, return body get token. Fetch results needs to call the get token function. It's calling get item is, well, it's getting the local storage. It's getting the item from the token from local storage.
This button click, if I refresh this again, just try to think it out. All right, I just copied this HTML, right? I'm logging in here. I'm going to submit here. It's going to return the token, which tells me this button click is just running this function. Get token. Right. And what function should it run?
Should run a post function, shouldn't it? Or, well, it is posting.
It is a post to get the token, but I already have it. I already actually checked local storage. I have it. It's in there, right? So I just have to do what?
You have to run the fetch results.
Yeah, I just need to log in now, right? What happens if I log out here? Oh, that button's not doing anything. Right. But I know if I submit this, look at that. I keep getting the token, right? But nothing's changing. I'm not being redirected. The token's already there, right? So let's look at our HTML. Let's look at it. It's just document wines. H3 says get info, right? It's a sign up. We're not using username, password. Cool. And it has an input, and then it has a button with a function called log out. Right? That doesn't seem to be working. Okay, let's go back to app.js. Let's go right from the top. This is just a basic fetch, right? It's fetching this basic URL context. It's awaiting, it's parsing the JSON, it's returning the body, right? Is this function running? How do we check? What's the button click doing, right? My button, this is submit. Where's my submit button?
You got two, well, you got two of them type or listed as submit for types. The submit button for the
log out.
Log out button.
And then this one.
Yeah, but you don't have one for, it's just type submit. Both of them are type submit. So wouldn't it be confused?
Yeah, it would be, right? And if I refresh here, everything goes away, right? So what I need from you is, how do I fix this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? When I submit this, I get the token. Cool, that's what I need, right? But after it's already stored in local storage, that's right. But what I need is for me to log in to my account. Right? So how do I go about debugging this? I can comment things out here, right? I don't necessarily have to run with all of this logic, right? So how would I do this piecemeal?
Let's see. See here. Sign up, get token, fetch results, unload. Click on that token. Log out on click. Oh, let's see. Form, unsubmit form. Get info. Create, submit, get info. Could you, well, I noticed I don't know if it matters or not, but I noticed the log out. It's getting the log out button, but the log out button doesn't really have a,
Any functionality,
yeah.
right? So how do we fix this? That's pretty much what I'm asking you to do. So it does what it's supposed to, right? Well, what functionality do you want to tackle first?
I think well, one, it should log you out and give you some kind of message that says you've been successfully logged out.
Okay. All right, let's do this. When I get info here, it says, hey, you must log in first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in. User. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to submit this. What am I going to get in the console log?
The token.
I'm going to get the token. I get the token. Now, when I press info, can I get access to it?
You
Yeah.
should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I have the information.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. But now if I log out, does that do anything?
No. So you want to create a logout function or
So it
handle
looks like the
logout?
logout does work, right? Actually, it looks like the login works, the logout works, right? The info works, right? What's really bad about this front end right now?
It's still saving the token.
I logged out here, right? And I
Mhm.
press this and I'm not logged in. If I
Right.
check, should that token be in there? Let's look. What was it, memory? Or performance? I don't even remember.
Application.
Oh yeah, application. What do you notice?
Oh, it's gone. Okay.
Okay, so the logic works. What's wrong with this application then? Why is it so confusing right now?
Well,
Everything actually works.
so logout should not even show up until you actually signed in, for
There you
one,
go.
right?
There's no conditional rendering in this application. There's no conditional rendering at all. So you can't tell if you're logged in or not. Right?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So when you get to this page, right? And this is another little to do for you. When you get to this page, let's see if we can work through some of this. All right. Everyone lock in. See if we can work through some of this. The logic's here. What's bad about it is the conditional rendering is really bad. Right? So when I refresh this page, check application, right? Look at that. There is no token there. I can't get any of that information. Cool. All right. Awesome. What's the first thing we want to fix here? You're going to do this with HTML right now, but when you get to React, conditional rendering is really big. So this concept is important now. Okay, so we log in. We have no access to anything. I have a username. I don't have to create one here. But when I go to this page, what's really bad about it?
You want to, well, first you want to have you want to change the interface to just show submit or sign in.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's do it. Let's go to our JavaScript. Let's go to our JavaScript. Let's go for HTML. This button is this right here. ID log out button.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. I could bring this over. All right, cool. We're gonna go here. What do we need now?
We need a conditional.
Yeah. So where does this go here?
Let's see. It would be in that creating the body part, I think, right there at basic fetch.
Basic fetch here.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we want to do here?
So let's see. Basic fetch. Wait, URL, context, body response, JSON, return body. Let me look real quick here.
All right, just stop right there, Cisco. Everyone else, what's our objective right now? Someone besides Cisco. What's our objective? What are we trying to accomplish here? What are we trying to accomplish here?
We're trying to only make the logout button show if you are logged in.
Correct. And when you are logged in, the login button shouldn't be visible, right? It should only be the logout button, right? So I need everyone to look at your app.js. Just look at it. What needs to change there? Look at it. It needs to be, it's just a simple check, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Do you mean by like a decorator? Like
Mm,
if it's like someone's not logged in, or if someone is logged in, then run a different method?
yeah, but
Or
you don't need a decorator here. This is just simple JavaScript. I'm going to give you a hint. It's right here. Look at what is happening on window load. It's loading what?
way too much stuff?
Yeah, but it's loading.
The logout button?
Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, the interface, right? So here, what do we need? We need a function of some kind.
Yeah. You need a function that's going to,
Let's write it. What do we need here?
function is going to discern whether to place a logout button or a login button there.
All right, we're going to toggle off buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do what exactly? Sorry, my JavaScript is terrible. All right, toggle off buttons here. What's the first thing we need to account? We need to check whether a button's going to be on or off. What's the one thing we need to check first? It's the basis for the conditional. If what's available.
The login status?
Yeah, but what tells us that? If something is in local storage, what's that thing?
We can check the token.
Yeah, you just need to check the token. Okay, so local storage, what is it? Get item? Yeah, get
Mhm.
item. Check that token. All right, cool. Now we have it. We have that token in here. Okay, cool. Now it's just a matter of, hey, if token, right?
Mhm.
If it's in there, what do we want to do? I don't expect you to know this. This is a little but the thing is, what is it? It's show none or inline block. Yeah. Log out. Look at log out style, and then don't show it. This is a little hacky, but it gets the idea across.
Okay.
And then I want to show none. None. If it's in there. This is obviously not done, but we could do what? Check it, right? Does
Yeah.
this work? Is this logic work? Right? Let's look at it. If I refresh this, what's happening? Nothing's happening. Nothing changed. This
Nothing's
is not quite
happened.
work. And that's because what needs to happen here at the end? What do you notice about line 98? What's wrong with line 98 here? So on window load, all of these things are running,
Yeah.
right? And let me get you on a window load here. There you go, on window load. Ooh, it's not loading what I want it to because I know that token's in there. It's not in there. I go to application, token's not in there, which means my logout button shouldn't be showing, but I reload my page and it is.
Yeah.
There's a problem with line 98. I need to
You
what?
haven't called the you got to call the toggle off the buttons
Yep.
function.
I need to call that function. Notice the highlight came off. I mean, the whiteout came off. Now it's highlighted. Okay. On reload, how can I tell that this function's running properly? On reload, what's going to happen?
The logout button shouldn't show.
What's happening?
Oh well, it's not working.
It's not working. Why?
So we know we need to go back in. Because is it because we put the, oh no, you got it up there. I don't have it up there. I need to place it. Let's see.
How do we check? All right, so let's look at this. So we know that this is more or less right. On window load, it has to run. Toggle off buttons, we grab the token. Can we console log token here just to make sure?
Yeah.
Let's just check if it's in there. So what's going to happen on page refresh here?
Is token null.
Yeah, token null. Okay, cool. So there's no null, right? So is this going to be executed?
Toggle button, long click, remove. So I tell you what if we do a console log inside of that if token portion and see token
Sure.
token empty or whatever.
Sure. So on refresh here, we should get what? How many console logs?
Should have gotten 2.
And we didn't.
Yeah.
I
So
mean that our logic's not quite right, but if we do that,
there you go.
okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? This is not quite right, right? Because I have a logout button showing, but in reality, what kind of button should I have?
A login button.
Login button. All right, so this login, this code is not quite right yet, but I'm getting there, right?
Right.
This is literally the opposite of what I want, right? I need the login button here, not the logout, because I haven't logged in. It's telling me, hey, you need to log in if you want to see any like Wine API stuff. All right, cool. We're getting there. That's pretty close. All right, so that's not quite right. So how do we fix this? So it's not the logout button, right? Is we need
the login button instead. So we need to actually
someone help me fix this. This is pretty close.
we got to in order to get the login button, we got to give the login button, we got to get that an ID, right? In the HTML.
Login button. Yeah, you can just grab it by ID, but it's a form, right?
Right.
So let's just grab the form. We have it. It's there.
Okay. Yeah, form dot query selector.
Okay, so here it's not log out, but it's form. Can we do that? And not if token's not there. If token is there, let's try that. No,
Okay.
it's not exactly what we needed. What about if the token's not there?
Are you're hiding the form though right now, right?
Yep,
Did you see-
I'm
yeah.
hiding it right now, and that's totally fine, right? But it's showing my logout button. I really need this to be a login button. So how do we fix it? So if there's no token, let's stick with this
Oh,
logic. If
oh,
there's no token, I want you to do what?
you can change the inner is it the inner HTML to log in instead of log out?
Let's look.
You can
Look,
change
this
the
is
display.
HTML. So this is the logout button here. It has an ID of logout button,
Yeah.
right? And this is it's just a form, right?
Mhm.
This entire form right there with ID form. Okay, so we have an ID form and we have a logout button, right? The only thing we want is this. Okay, so why don't we do an else here, right? And we want the form to show up with the login button if there is no token, right?
Right.
So is it this? And we can't figure out the rest? Is it something like that? I mean, obviously it's kind of messed up right now, but we can figure out, all right, if, and this reads, hey, if there is no token, don't do anything.
Right.
But if there is a token, show that.
Right.
All right. Refresh. Now, if I use username here and I log in, do we have submit, get info, log out, right? Not quite.
I'll try. Try taking the, what about if you take the exclamation point off of the token now and try it?
Mm-hmm. Not quite.
Mhm. Huh.
What are we trying to do here?
We're trying to, do we just need one instead of, yeah, do we just need one style display none?
It depends if it's the
I mean,
conditional, right? For
yeah.
having the token or not. So if we go here,
It's not disappearing.
get info, you must be logged in, but my login button is not accessible. Oh, there we
There
go.
it goes.
There it goes. All right. A little bit better. This
Oh,
just took, I don't expect you to know this. I have to Google this. But right now, this is kind of hacky. I'm just hiding it. But for our intended purposes, this is totally fine right now. They can't click on it if it's hidden, right? All right, so here we go. If the token is there, right, display inline block, right, and display none for that for the logout button. Hey, don't show me the logout button if there is a token. And if there is, wait, sorry, I read that wrong. What is that saying? No, if there is a token, show me the logout button. But if there isn't, don't show it. Sorry, I flipped it. And this took a minute to reload. Okay, this is what we want. So get info, you must be logged in, right? So now when I log in, user, with my password, and I submit, what do I expect will happen here?
You're gonna see the token and then it's gonna show the logout button.
Yes.
But it didn't.
Didn't show the logout button, right? But when I get info, I'm technically logged in, so I should be able to get the information there,
No, it doesn't show it. Yeah. Okay.
right? But in reality, why is this lagging so much? I shouldn't be doing that. Sorry, let me run this again. Just feel like I shouldn't be doing that. Why is this so laggy? Oh, there we go. I don't know why it's doing that. Shouldn't do that. All right, doesn't matter. All right, so this is what we have, right? And yeah, it's a little hacky right now, but this is kind of the general idea, right? You can't get the information until you log in, right? And when you submit and you log in, right, the logout button should appear, and ideally, this should disappear too, the form, right? And the only thing that it should show you is what? Your wine info, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So ideally, that's kind of how you want to make it look. This conditional logic, you're going to do a lot of that in React. So definitely practice that now. Questions about this?
Yeah, can you show me your index.html?
Yeah, I just copied it from the GitHub repo.
Oh yeah, that's what I got. But oddly, yeah, I mean I couldn't get the Django to talk to it though. I mean I couldn't get the front end to talk to the back end to actually show anything once I tried to click on get info. Well, I could log in. I think I got it to log in.
Were your routes okay? Were you pinging the right endpoints?
Yeah. I got the last time I checked, I got the authorization to work, and when I clicked get info, it went to the wine page, but it didn't show the info inside of the website like that. It just went to when I clicked on mine, it just went to the wine page. I think I actually fooled with the path a little bit, kind of forced the URL for it to go to, so probably have to change it back.
Gotcha. Good. Let's try this. Let's try adding a little bit more to it here. When I click on info, I'm not going to get anything. I have to log in. All right, so I'm going to log in again, user. And the logic here is not quite right. We managed to figure out the button, but in reality, once I log in, I kind of want to get rid of the form, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two main things I want to do. Once I log in, right, I want to get rid of the form and I want the logout button to appear because I don't need the login or sign up functionality if I'm already logged in, right? So what I want to do is on submit, right? I also want form on submit, very similar to on submit, like the bottom one. On submit, I want to toggle those elements off, right, on that function. I mean, on that form, right? Do I have a handle auth in here? Yep,
Yeah.
handle auth right here. There we go. Handle auth, right? Not only want to do that, I want to toggle my elements at that point too. What do I call it? Toggle, yeah, auth button. What's wrong here? Oh, I did square brackets instead of curly braces. There you go. All right, toggle elements. Let's try this one more time. I think that was part of our problem earlier, right? And I'm literally just tackling one problem at a time. All right, so here, user, once again, let's see if this works. Now on submit, I should be logged in. The logout button should appear, right? And this form should disappear. Didn't work. Right, but if I get info, I can get the info. Right? Toggle buttons, right? Ah, what happened there? Oh, there you go. Oops. That didn't really work. But you got to play with it a little bit. I don't know why mine's acting up kind of weird right now. Why is this is more or less right. Why is this acting stupid? Let me cancel this again. It shouldn't be doing that. Why is that doing that? Doesn't matter. You get the idea.
Okay, Guillermo, can you show us your settings.py?
Yeah.
I'm getting a core exception, improperly configured WSG application wines. So see that wines middleware, cores middleware and middleware at the top right there?
Yep.
So
Line 46.
yeah, so I'm getting that whenever I put that line in. So I can't run my server.
Okay. So look at your middleware and make sure that you have this.
So you placed it now. The instruction said to place the middleware py in the root.
No. It has to be in the
top.
project in wines.
Okay. Yeah, I moved it there and then it fixed it, but then I got the cores error. So okay.
Yeah, that should fix it. That worked?
Let's see. Yeah, it's probably gonna work. Yeah, it's working now.
Easy. All righty. I'm gonna open the breakout rooms again. Continue working on that. Hopefully, in an hour or so, we can present to each other. I'm gonna actually work on this right now because it's like annoying me that it keeps doing that. I'll fix this, so at the very least, we'll have that to look at once we reconvene. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All righty. Oh, well, I'm sure that wasn't that important. All right. So we're going to go over just this little thing. I kind of figured it out. Let's go here. Okay. This is pretty much what we had earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I just made some slight modifications and I got it to work. So we were saying, oh, okay, when we go user and we punch in our password and I press submit, what should happen?
The form should go away and it should show logout button.
Yes, that's what we want to happen. Let's see if it worked this time. And I'm getting this Google warning because it's a stupid password, 1234556. But yeah, this is exactly what should happen, right? I can get rid of the console log here. I don't actually even need it there. Where do I have that? I have it here, right? Don't really need that. But yeah, so this works, right? And I can get info there. But watch what happens when I do a logout. That worked. My logout button went away, and then my submit button appeared. And if I check my application and I check my local storage, okay, key's gone. All that is correct. But what do you notice appear?
That didn't go away.
Yeah, it didn't go away. That's bad user experience, right? How do we clean this up? Just looking at this file. Right there, line 93 to 125. How do we fix that? When I logged out, the logout button went away and the login came back and the form came back, but there's an issue here in this code section. I need to also clear what?
You need to clear the get info.
So how do I do
Display.
that? Where? Give me a line.
Let's see here. You need to. So the create wine HTML should be cleared out. Right API results query get info. So yeah, that right maybe the right one in API results needs to be set to clear. So there's a method.
We need to clear just the HTML, right? Because it's still
Right.
showing, right? So which function, the one where I says log out, it logs me out, it switches the button like it's supposed to, but it doesn't clear the HTML. I need something to clear it right here. It's a very
This,
simple addition here to one of my functions.
yeah.
What line is it?
The writing HTML results line.
Give me a number.
116.
Not quite. That gets the info. I need to clear it
Oh.
on the button click log
Yeah.
out. So where is
Yeah.
it?
So log out on
On
yeah,
log
there.
out, right?
Mhm,
So here it removes my token and then it toggles the buttons, right? But in between removing the token, clear the HTML as well, right?
Right.
What is that? And that HTML is the get info
Get
button,
info.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So get info, we have that. It's here on line 95.
Right.
Get info, I think it's inner HTML. Yep. And then just give me a string,
Right.
right? So if I do that again, it should act like it's supposed to. I'm going to put my password. I'm going to submit. I'm going to log in. Cool. I get my info, right? But then when I log out, it should bring my form back and it should clear my HTML. And it does. I mean, it gives me this little circle there. That does a lag. But yeah, that's, I mean, clunky, but that's the right idea.
Right.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Let's go back on my code. This is kind of what we had before, more or less. And the only thing that I added is this. On submit, right? I'm going to handle the auth, toggle the buttons, right? On get info, I'm going to fetch my results and I'm going to write my API results with the body and then log out. So really just the two main things, log in, log out, and then get info. Those are your three API calls. And I know you're thinking, this is pretty clunky. It is. There's a much better way to write this. You could have consolidated it. But for our use case, this is going to be just fine.
Got you.
Go ahead, Art.
Would you mind dropping this .js into
Oh,
Slack?
yeah. Yep.
Mm-mm. You got it very, you just see, I got that Docker file in there. Don't need that.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Questions about this?
Nope.
Again, we're just teaching middleware here. You're not actually your code when you ultimately build your person project and your group project, well, you're going to be using React on the front end. So you won't be doing this, but the concepts are the same, right? This conditional rendering, you're going to have that with React saying, hey, on this specific form, log in, log out. Right? Conditional rendering is actually really important when it comes to just building out GUIs and React especially. All right, cool. That's the only thing I wanted to cover here. Last thing, before I cut you loose, for your personal project and group projects, your back end is going to be Django, DRF, right? And your database is going to be Postgres. Two things you guys already know, right? So when you start thinking about your project or even start building them or creating the folder and kind of cobbling together your APIs, just remember that all that stuff, you can actually kind of start building it now, knowing that, hey, you're just going to throw React front end on top of it and then deploy it to AWS and you're going to be good to go.
Okay.
But the back end stuff, all that and a lot of the AWS stuff, you already know that. The Docker stuff, you already know that. You could easily have almost the entire backend, depending if you know exactly what your project's going to do, already built out. and then you can just polish it, which always takes longer than you would think. Make sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty, dudes. I'm gonna open up the breakout rooms. Oh, feel free if you can't figure it out after like 20, 30 minutes, feel free to use the app.js that I have. And the HTML that I use is literally just what's on the repo. Anybody get
Okay.
it to work?
No, it's still not loading my JS and CSS files, and I was trying to do that whole adding the static tag and all that stuff to get it to load. So until it can load the JS, is not going to work.
Correct.
So that's the problem I'm hitting.
Why did you go that route?
Well, I'm using, well, I got the front end going, but it's still, I mean, it's just giving me a 404. I have that front end folder, and it's just saying that it can't load the CSS or JS from it. So I'm just trying to, I just went into the settings and tried to do the whole set the static files DIRs folders so to know where to get the JS and CSS from, but it's still not working.
Yeah, 404 is just not found. It doesn't know where it is.
Mhm.
Alrighty. How about everybody else?
I got it working with a little help from my friend GMO.
Good.
But I've been working on my personal project. I actually found a good API. I'm thinking about doing some type of scheduling or calendar thing. So I've been kind of working on that. Once I got that the web page to work with what you slacked in, I kind of put that to the side and start working on the personal project.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Nicole, how'd you do?
So I have my drop down working. And I'm pulling back my object. It's just not displaying it yet.
Can you show us? I'd be interested to see this.
Sure. This one. So I have it, let's see. So I have my login, and I have two users that I've made. And so I'm selecting the wine, and over here it's pulling in. And if I switch it now, because before it was then like erroring out, and it was giving me the URL but not pulling back the results, so I was able to fix that. So it's pulling it, it's just not displaying it here yet. And then I have to change this, but I was more interested in getting this select thing to work.
That is awesome. Why is it not displaying?
I think it has something to do with uh where is it? My right line API results or something? Something here? Or is it, hold on. Where is it? I don't know. I'm still playing with it. But I'm pulling it out. It's just I have to get it to display in, I have a spot for it here. Wine details.
Okay, wine details is a div. Cool. Alrighty. So go into your JavaScript. Where is this? This is being console logged. So where is it being logged?
Oh, give me a second. Find it.
It should
Okay.
be like get wine or something.
Yeah. Create wine HTML because it's creating it. I don't know. Here.
I go down. I think it's further down. Is it right here? Stop.
Control F.
Oh, just search console log. There's a
There
console
we
log
go.
somewhere.
Oh, so I'm doing it here, console logging when I pull back the
Okay.
body because
All right, we're gonna do it kind of hacky here.
okay.
Right after line 155, just do an inner HTML stringify. Check if that will do it. Just do where the info is, right? Like up there. It's go up. It's like the info one. Grab that element.
Oh,
Get info.
yeah.
Yeah.
this one. So it's get info.
Capital I believe. Get info dot
Inner HTML.
HTML and throw the body in there. Check what is it. I think we're gonna have to like stringify it or something, but let's see what that does.
Now it's back to like this not working. Because that was an issue too I had. I had it where I would select something, it would give me the URL, but this would not work until I refreshed the page. And then I had to, when I went to the URL, it was saying no credentials, but that's because I was going in another tab. So I got it to pull out the object, but now it's not doing this. I don't know. Like I said, I've been playing with it. I've been kind of
do
just
do JSON capital go Control Z. Do JSON stringify parentheses and pass the body.
wait, what? Hold on, control.
Yeah, do the inner HTML thing that you had earlier.
Yeah.
Get info inner and do JSON capital letters dot stringify parentheses and pass the body into it.
So instead of HTML,
No, that was right. Get info dot inner HTML
dot
equals JSON. No, inner HTML equals and then JSON capital letters dot stringify
and then
parentheses and pass in the body. Show what that does.
batty. My brain at this point. Let's see. Yeah, it still breaks this.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like that though.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just I was comparing it to the actual the README to see because I changed the fetch like to a fetch wine, so I was changing it from just doing the fetch results to where it was just pulling up
Yeah, just grabbing one as opposed to all of them.
opposed to all of them, but that seems to be where I'm having the issue where I'm like I've got it to now pull back each one, it's just not displaying it yet. So I
Okay.
was just going down that rabbit hole, and then I knew I was gonna have to fix this if I wanted to, but this seemed more interesting.
Oh
But
yeah.
when you hear it, it refreshes, it just stopped working.
Okay. Very cool.
Well, I'm curious, how did you get the so your front end is pointing to 127.5500 front end slash. Did you put a path for that? Did you create a path for that?
No, I just went over here and did run with live server.
Oh, yeah, I did that too. I was just
Because
uh
I didn't have to do like anything else over here once I made sure I had my accounts correctly.
right.
And then I just would go over here and just run. So
Yeah, I did that as well, but I also tried to do it from tried to do it directly from the 8000 port.
yeah,
So
yeah, but it's getting there. It's returning it. It's just not displaying it yet. So
I got you. Thanks.
yeah,
That's
where
awesome.
that's ended up where I rabbit holed. I feel like I always like go off somewhere.
No worries. You're doing good. Thank you for showing us that. Very good. Awesome. Main idea today is middleware and handling those credentials on the front end. I just want to show you one last thing before I cut you loose for the day, is that I think you have to really keep in mind that you were just using live server as your HTML, right? You were just creating a little front end that would interact with your API and your database, right? You don't have to deploy that in a container yet, at least, right? So you're just running that front end locally, and then your back end is running in a container, and then you're pinging it. You can ping a Postman or Thunder client or using the browser or curling it. You can do anything, right? You were just building a little UI for your endpoint in your database. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm about to show you something pretty, something, I guess, somewhat important, I guess. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what I just did here is I literally just created a practice folder and I created an API. What does my API return when you ping it?
Hello world.
That's it. I can use Postman to ping it. It's running locally. What is it? It's Oops, I don't even know what, oh, here we go, 5,000. Right? Postman, that's not what I meant to do. There you go. Oh, I'm pinging it here. I can ping it. Look at that. I'm running this locally, right? And I'm using Flask. Flask is just a library. It's like Django, except it's much lighter, right? It's less opinionated, much lighter, less robust. You can do less things with it, but it's easier to use. It's just less code. So this API, when I ping it, right, it returns what?
Hello world.
Okay. If I wanted to create a different route, how do I do this in this very simple API?
There you go.
Okay, I just edited my API, right? I'm about to what's this not doing? What's going on here? What did I mess up here? Sorry, give me a second. Oh, I'm stupid. Sorry about that. What's wrong with this? Why wasn't this working? Look at the function name.
Oh, you got two of the same names. You got this, yeah, duplicate function.
There you go. All right, let's try that one more time. Okay, cool. I go back to my Postman, right? And if I go /bears, I'm gonna get what?
Go Bears.
Go Bears. Let's see. Go Bears. So I just created literally an API, right, that I could use to test. If you can't get your very complicated backend, right, and you're trying to practice creating a little UI for an API endpoint, you could easily just spin up a very quick endpoint, right, create a UI for it, right, and practice that way. Doesn't have to be in a container with a Docker Compose attached to a database. It can literally be returning a string if you're having trouble understanding how to connect a front end to an endpoint. Right here, I could have easily just done index.html, right? Why is that not working? /tab, right? There you go. And I could have gone live server and try to ping it. It just returns a string, it doesn't return anything, right? But I could actually had added a little GUI with some auth with a simple endpoint, protecting an endpoint that doesn't return anything, just to see if I know how it all works. And then I can go back to my assignment. Make sense?
Yeah.
So when you kind of get like, and it happens in software engineering where you just like get lost in the code, that's normal, right? Just bring it back to basics. Okay, what am I trying to learn here? What's the easiest way that I can try this implementation and go that route? Make sense? Because when you're spinning up a container with a database and an API and it's not working, and that's not even the part that you're trying to learn yet, because you allegedly should have already known that part, it gets really messy. So just focus on the main idea for the day. And I just wanted to show you an example that it doesn't have to be that complicated. It could just return some strings for right now. Make sense?
Yeah.
And obviously we don't teach you Flask, but that was the easiest thing that I could think of at the time to show you that. Hey, you could just strip it down and focus on the one thing you're trying to learn in that moment. Alrighty, that's all I had for you. Any questions?
Nope.
Alrighty, dudes, have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday.
All right. Take care, guys.